Hey class, welcome to our next session for Unit 5. And as you can see, we are now on Unit 5.5, Technology in the Industrial Age. So hopefully y'all can see that. Let me try to scooch up just a little so that y'all can see the board. Give me 1 second. There we go. Well, anyway, as you can see, this is Technology in the Industrial Age. And in our last video, we talked about how all these things, Columbian Exchange and the worldwide trading system, has now facilitated a way to make things a lot more efficient and mass-produced, which means this is the turning point where Europe, excuse me, where Europe and America have now, it's now shifted. They are now the #1 mass producers in the world. So this is where European and American exceptionalism basically begin. It begins with the Industrial Revolution. So today I want to talk about Section 5.5, Technology in the Industrial Age. As I said, the first Industrial Revolution led to increased access to resources and the increased distribution of the goods that those resources help create. Now you have to understand there are actually 2 industrial revolutions. The first one has to do with things like the steam engine and the internal combustion engine, railroad, ships, and factories. That lays the groundwork for the second industrial revolution, which is chemicals, the use of steel, precision machinery, electronics, and communication devices like the phone and like the radio. So please make sure that you understand that there are 2 different industrial revolutions. Let me get over here so y'all can see this. The first one we have is the revolution in coal. We can see a switch to coal power, which now symbolizes a shift from most things being powered by man or animal to now most things being powered by fossil fuels. Now, steam engine was invented by a guy named James Watt. Watt, W-A-T-T. That makes sense because electricity is generated and measured in watts. So that's why it's named after him. Don't get confused. He's not the guy that invented electricity. Electricity, remember, is not an invention. It is more of a discovery than anything else. But the steam engine in 1765 is able to harness the power of coal to create steam, which generates energy for machines. I got some pictures of how some of that works up here. And so within 50 years of that, steam is powering our ships and factories. They don't have to be by water anymore. Remember, that's one of the reasons why Britain took off, is because there were a lot of waterways. Not required anymore. But that will help Great Britain industrialize with the development of the railroad. Water transportation is where you see steamships are changing sailing altogether. You can now use coal anywhere, on ships or on trains. Things can now be turned on or off. It's not dependent on wind, and it's going to replace wind sailing ships. So transportation is going to be completely revolutionized. And also under iron, coal allows for iron to be manufactured, and iron is a huge improvement in the manufacturing process. So with all these things, one thing always leads to something else here in this revolution. So we have a huge revolution in coal, and feel free to stop the video at any time to take notes, or if you need to repeat anything I have to say, just stop it and go back. So the second industrial revolution is now 19th, and we're getting now into 20th century stuff, where the development of steel and chemicals, precision machinery, and electronics come to play. The Bessemer process, you should know this, the Bessemer process allows iron and carbon to now be combined to make steel. Steel, which has been around for thousands of years, only difference is now it is mass produced, okay? Oil, from the mid-1800s, oil was discovered, and it turns out we can turn that into a fossil fuel. And it's an energy that is derived from animal remains. At the first, it was used for kerosene to light lamps. It was to grease precision machinery like you see pictured here, and led to the internal combustion engine. Everything is now based on oil. As you can see, during this COVID-19 epidemic that we're dealing with right now, looking at our oil stocks, because oil is in less demand, oil is extremely cheap, and you've probably noticed that effect at the gas pumps. Electricity, 1882, the first public power station starts to generate electricity, and then we also get some other neat technological devices like the telephone, I thought I had a picture of that up here, but I do not. Invented by Alexander Graham Bell, and Guglielmo Marconi's radio, which also is going to make its debut during this time period. So the second industrial revolution, it's really, really cool. So railroad, steamships, and the telegraph are making exploration, development, and communication all possible. So communication is now immediate, at least what passes for immediate during that period of time. Railroads, particularly here, we look at the United States. This is the Transcontinental Railroad. You'll learn more about that in U.S. history next year, which starts here, and it met up right here. They started from the West Coast and then going in from the east, and they met here at Promontory Point, Utah. And that helps people move from rural to urban areas more easily. So really what this means is that for the first time, farmers, manufacturers, miners, and customers domestically and internationally are all connected. So Great Britain, Germany, the U.S., they are continuing to industrialize, and they're going to start getting a little bit greedy, as you might imagine. They're going to be looking for other natural resources, which is where colonialism will come into play, and we'll talk about that in a later topic. But exploration is now possible, not just in the coast, but in absolutely everything. So that's going to lead us into section 5.6, which is in our next video, where the government now plays a major role in industrialization. So I hope you join us for section 5.6 as we are rocketing through. Don't forget, this would also be a good time to look at Steve Heimler's videos. And I'm going to put a link right up there. You see it right there? There it is. There it is. So you can click on that right now, and you won't hurt my feelings because his reviews are a lot better than mine. So I'll see you in the next video.